Preparing for 2026 may look a little bit different. I want you to think about this for just a moment. The era of hopium, hype, and the wild, wild west is gone in the cryptocurrency industry. It didn't go any way we thought it would. As soon as he dropped those tariffs, it put everything in sideways action. Then 10/10/2025 hit, threw everybody's emotions off. The game has absolutely changed. That's why on my channel, we don't talk about get rich quick. We talk about discipline, consistency, not timing the markets, as Warren Buffett says, but time in the market. We set a game plan, we stick to it, we feed cash flow strategies, protection, we buy when it's red, and we sell when there's green. So, or greed, we should probably say greed. So in today's video, I'm going to break down what Trump has done, where we think it's going in 2026. I'm going to use the Kobe letter, which I think is fantastic, which I think you should follow them. And as you take a look at this, we're going to look at what Bestnet. So then we're going to use logic. We're going to logically look at this. We're going to look at the cabinet, right? Who's sitting with Trump right now? Let's start there. We got Trump writing the rules. Howard Lutnick. Howard Lutnick owns Cantor Fitzgerald. He passed it on to his son, Brandon Lutnick, excuse me. Cantor is the custodian for Tether. Bo Hines is now the CEO of Tether. Tether is the largest stablecoin, has 90% of the supply. Trump trumped everybody. Trump has USD1 with World Liberty Financial, the fastest growing stablecoin. This is just all logic, guys. You got Steve Witkoff. Steve Witkoff, Trump, the Steve Witkoff boys. Donald Trump started World Liberty Financial, World Liberty Financial, a world bank. Okay. No borders. Trump said you're going to be on an even playing field monetarily before you know it 7 years ago. He was worried about the debasement of the US dollar, our currency. They're sucking the debasement up into stable coins. Okay. We got Bo Hines, as I said earlier, talked about Bo Hines. We got Steve Witkoff. We got Trump writing the rules. We got Lutnick, our commerce secretary. And we got Scott Bessent working to help us become the crypto capital of the world. So that's the team. Okay. Now we have the actual thing that's about to happen. Now you have to prepare for this, guys. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about 1929. This is shaping up to look like 1920 to 1929. Remember, in 1920, the concept of margin was created. That's why people got liquidated $19 billion on 10/10/2025. All these influencers telling you, oh, just hold, leverage all your crypto, leverage. It's too volatile, guys. It's way too volatile. And here's why I do my plan of holding Bitcoin forever. We're going to move that off the side. I exit 50% on the way up. I hold 50% for a moon bag just in case the hopium is right. Okay. Wouldn't want to miss it. But I pull on the way up and I actually feed my ecosystem. So when those red days hits like 10, 20, everybody gave me a ton of shit when I exited 10% of 50% at $2.70 when Trump got elected for XRP. I was sitting pretty when it collapsed on 10/10/2025. I was able to buy in. I got it at $1.80. Okay. So hype will not get you there. Hopium will not get you there. Waiting for price predictions will not get you there. Okay. So I'm going to break all this down and then I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm doing on the back end of the video. Okay. Man, I keep doing that. All right, let's share this. Okay. So this is the, I have really bad with pronunciation, the Kobe letter. I really, really like their content. So it said so far this last weekend. So this was posted a couple days ago. Trump announces a 50-year mortgage. Wild, right? It's going to lower interest, or he's going to lower interest rates, a 50-year mortgage. That's going to be really bullish. And I think it's great because it's going to allow people to have a home. I think that's fantastic. Trump announces, but it is interest wise, you're going to pay a lot more in interest. It's going to make the banks wealthy. Trump announces $2,000 stimulus checks, right? Now, these are just true social tweets he's putting out. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but he announces $2,000 stimulus checks, right? Trump says insurance money should go to the people. Trump says tariffs will begin paying down U.S. debt. And Trump says no more money to insurance companies, right? These are all things he's saying, right? That it could have happened. Fantastic. That'd be great if it did, right? It says 2026 is going to be a wild year. Now, this is where I really, really vibe with what they're talking about. Own assets or be left behind, guys. This is why in my capital DI strategy, I focus on fixed supply assets. You have to understand the monetary transition we are going through. They are debasing the currency, guys. We're at 120% debt to income ratio. They're sucking the US dollar up into stable coins, a one world economy. I believe The US dollar will no longer be the world's reserve currency at some point. I'm not saying it's going to collapse. I'm saying at some point it's going to be a global currency. Trump said we're going to be on an even playing field monetarily before we know it. And he created World Liberty Financial, a world bank that anybody can use USD1 all over the world. He was concerned about the debasement of the US dollar. So they're going to suck up the dollar into stablecoins. They're going to use Bitcoin in the treasury. Okay. They're going to bring a bunch of tariffs in, public and private sector coming together. Okay. I think the economy is going to boom in 2026. I still think we're going to have some huge black swans in crypto because a traditional bank is not involved yet. They're not fully involved yet. Okay. They need to liquidate you a couple more times before they can get their bags. They get their bags and then, commercial, institutional grade custody. Put it safely at a bank. See the exchange. It's going to keep happening. You got to understand the game. This is not different, guys. Study 1920 to 1929. Everybody was over leveraged. Everybody was hype and hopium. And then boom, they collapsed everything in 2029. Okay. It's a cycle. It's not different. It just cycles and it's just different tools, different environment, different people, same rhythm, guys. It happens over and over again. Study radialities changing warlords. Be prepared for that. Okay. So own assets are getting left behind. Still not convinced? Here's their view. The US government is about to hand out $400 billion in stimulus payments for the first time since 2021. Print them, turn that printing machine on full blast, baby. Meanwhile, the Fed is cutting rates as the labor market continues to crumble with US inflation back above 3%. They're literally walking on a tightrope right now, guys. All as Magnificent Seven companies alone are investing over $100 billion per quarter in CapEx amid the AI revolution. Okay. The math is simple. The US government is handing out stimulus checks with stocks at record highs. This is the fuel to the bull market's fire. Look at this. It's going to fly, guys. But remember, what goes up must come down. It's going to create a bubble at some point. Why do you think Trump is stacking Bitcoin? Why do you think the elites are stacking gold? Why do you think they're stacking silver? They're getting ready for this big boom that's going to come. And when you're in profits, I would recommend taking some off the table. At least get your initial investment out. So here's Scott Bessent, our new Treasury Secretary, talking about what he believes is going to happen.
So I think we are at the cusp of the liftoff in 2026, 2027. President Trump was committed to bringing the manufacturing jobs back to America, and this is the start. And the good part about this is not only this high-paying jobs, this is part of national and economic security, Ed.
I want to talk about affordability. That's one of the things we heard out of this last election that happened last week. How are your policies going to help Americans afford their lifestyle?
Well, there are two pieces to affordability. There's the price, and then there's real wages. So what we saw under the Biden administration was, especially working Americans, real wages got decimated. The inflation rate was up 22%, but the average basket of goods and services that a working family bought was up in the 30s. So we have brought down inflation. Inflation came down in April for the first time in 4 years under President Trump. So the first thing to do was to bring down the rate of change. We're going to continue to bring it down. Energy prices are down. You might have seen yesterday Walmart came out and said that the Thanksgiving meal's 25% less. But the other side, and it's why we're here today, is real wage increases, because there were not real wage increases under the Biden administration because so many of the jobs are government jobs.
Okay. So here's my analysis of this. Okay. So I'm going to show you where the markets are at right now. This is our demo account from Merlin. You can download it 30 days for free. It's the greatest crypto tracker in the world, guys. You get 30 days free. I'm the co-founder and creator of Merlin, smartest way to track your crypto. We teach you how to do profit taking. We teach you the game here. Okay. So the markets right now are just a little bit red, down. Bitcoin's at 104, ETH at 3,000, XRP's at $2.46. All right. So let's dive right in. Okay. So here's why I created Crapple DR. That's so funny. Capple DR. Cash flow, income and cash flow are different. Cash flow into appreciating assets that have fixed supplies, that are deflationary, okay, that hold my value. Protection, okay, gives me a leverage component, which is L. gives me permanent life insurance, create a family bank, and I can richest man in Babylon multiply my money. And DR, de-risk, de-risk, de-risk. If you're in my academy, I talk about, you'll hear me say it 3 times every time. De-risk, de-risk. Okay, we'll go back to cash flow. What I do is I have income coming. So last bull run, I didn't buy Lambos, Ferraris, didn't do lifestyle creep. I built and invested into my companies. I built cash flow. I did, I followed all the gurus. I was like, oh, what do we need to do? I need to build businesses. But when I gain more income, income is different than cash flow. I took income and I created cash flow. I started to get on the bottom right side of the cash flow quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki. Everybody should read that book. Okay. I stopped being in the business. I scaled the businesses. Okay. Now I run the businesses and I have other people that are employed. We created tons of employment. And so I get paid from my businesses from multiple different companies, right, that I created. And I take my income and I do multiple things with it. I put it into assets, okay, outside of debts and non-negotiables that have fixed supply that are going to grow over time. And I put 10% of my income, which income and cash flow are different, I put it into cash flow. So I put it into cash generating dividends. When the cash generating dividends pay cash flow passively while I'm sleeping, I take the cash flow and I put it into assets that have fixed supply. So I'm double dipping. $1 is becoming 2, and then 2 is becoming 3 when the asset goes up. The asset goes up. I don't sit there and watch it go up and go down. I pull profits on the way up. I pull and I feed the system. I take 10% of the profit. I put 10% into cash flow, creating more cash flow to feed more assets. I take some of it. I max fund my insurance policies. Then I have some on the sidelines and I wait for the greed to kick in and everybody collapses like 10, 10, 20, 25, and I buy the fear, right? And then I have more tokens. I have more stocks. I have more dividends. I buy the fear. I sell the greed. I insure my money. My money's insured. We structure them properly. We fund them properly. And then we leverage L at 5%. You can go put it into Bitcoin at 50%. Your cash value still exists, still earning money in the markets, insured money, and I'm beating the hurdle rate. If I borrow at 5 and Bitcoin grows at 50%, I now took $1 into 2, into 3, into 4. That's riches, man, and Babylon. Then de-risk. Okay. High risk dividends. I de-risk out. I de-risk every single time I get paid. I do not reinvest back in dividends. I de-risk out, de-risk out, de-risk out. So if you go into a casino and you put down $1,000 and they pay you 2,000, you win 2,000, get 1,000 off the table. And as you're winning with the house money, you got some chips, you put them in your pocket, you put them in your pocket, you put them in your pocket because you're going to lose. I promise you. I'm going to show you guys 1920 to 1929. Okay. The elites are playing a completely different game. They're waiting for you to get all excited. They're waiting for hopium. The price shoots up and they're boom, taking profits off the table. And then wham, they slam down the market. They make you fearful and they buy your fear and then they sell your greed. That's all there is, guys. That's all there is. So when the markets go up, I de-risk a little bit off the table. Bitcoin, we're never selling. Bitcoin's going to sit in the legacy category. It's going to sit in the leverage category. But people that are telling you to go and, just hold and borrow your crypto. Now, being a long-term holder is nothing wrong with that. That's probably one of the greatest strategies ever, being a long-term holder. But in a volatile market like this, where people say you're trying to live off your crypto, right? There's so many different types of investor. There's a person that has a good job, they can pay their bills, and they're investing what they can afford to lose, and they're holding long-term. For legacy, they believe in the price. Say they believe XRP is going to go to $1,000, right? Which, I believe in the, I'm not a price prediction guy, but I believe in the future at some point it's going to be a 4-digit token in the future, some point. I'm not putting any dates or predictions on that. It's just built into the technology. It's built into the scarcity. It's built into the deflationary asset, right? The token needs to be expensive for transaction to be cheap. It's logic, right? So what people are telling you to do, it's like, oh, lock it up and borrow to live. 1010 hits 2025, you get liquidated. It's way too volatile right now, guys. It's way too volatile. Be very, very careful. Trust me, I've coached 14,000 people. We've heard horror stories of this type of stuff. Don't borrow. I've made all these mistakes, guys. I'm literally teaching you from wisdom. Don't borrow. Don't get a 0% credit card, borrow on a credit card, and then buy crypto. Trying to beat the system, guys. That just go earn extra income. Go create a side hustle. Create a budget. Go down to go from 2 cars to 1 car. Take the cash flow from that. Invest it, guys. I don't care what you invest in, but you have to beat inflation. Okay, you have to beat the hurdle rate. So I hope this information reaches your heart well. Just a big reminder, we do not, that's not me on WhatsApp. That's not me on Telegram. I am not DMing you. We do not invest people's crypto, guys. I do not have a trading platform. I do not invest people's crypto. I do not manage people's money. Those are all scammers. There's thousands of scammers. So there's a couple things out there. We're spending thousands of dollars per month to do this. We have a whole team monitoring for scammers all day and AI at night. But we created a reporting structure. So down in the description of this video, you can report scam accounts. You can also report it on my social media platform by clicking the link. We also have, we're educators. We have a 3T Warrior Academy. Okay. Within the 3T Warrior Academy, Open Academy, we have tons of live calls, information. We also have a group coaching program. You'll see it down in the description of this video on my social media platform, where I teach my capital DR strategy. So imagine being on here. I have a big whiteboard and I'm teaching. We have live calls. You have Q&As and all those things. We're teaching the concepts to empower you to make decisions and understand how we do these types of things, right? Because we need financial literacy. Okay. We need financial literacy. We don't need stimulus checks. We need financial literacy because Jim Rohn said it the best. You give $1 million to every person in society, it's going to end up in the same 1%'s hands. They don't care if they give you stimulus checks. They'll give you stimulus checks all day because you're just going to make them wealthy. You're going to go to the hotels that they own. You're going to buy the flat screen TVs that they own. You're going to buy more Apple iPhones. They're going to buy more Teslas. Guys, you're just going to pump the money right back in the economy. Remember, 10%, everybody's complaining about the stock market when it collapses. Only 10% of the population is even in the stock market. It's the wealthiest people in the world. So when the stock market comes collapsing down, like, see what he's hurting his own, if you say it's the wealthy that he's managing the wealthy, well, when he collapses the stock market, only 10% of the population is in stocks, guys, is in investments. Everybody else is trying to make it, man. It's like, look at the economy right now. So it's like, don't get fooled by this bullshit. Don't get fooled by this polarization of left and right. And this, it's all confusion. It's to distract you. This protesting back and forth, it's all confusion. Take the middle ground, guys. Okay, get focused. God, family, protection of your ecosystem at all costs, and stay out of other men and women's business. You're too busy working on yours. Love you guys. Warriors! Need support? Click the link in my bio or click the description of this video down below. Talk to you soon.